So the first thing I want to do when I want to make a dress is to copy a tight-fitting bodice pattern. In this case, it is a kind of Regency model, finishing at the underbust, and I'm copying on craft paper just with a pencil, and this model has one dart to accommodate the bust, and I am trying to get this into a shape that will be good for my evening. So I'm splitting this dart into two darts, one on the upper side and one on the underside, to make it into a princess seam. Of course, I'm copying the back side as well, also on the same paper, and anyone who's watching this who's a professional, please don't mind me, I'm just a home sewer. And I'm having a closure here that I'm not considering for this model, because in the original there were buttons in the end, and so I'm lengthening this pattern to the natural waist. If you want to do this as well, you can try to consider if you want to nip this in for 1 centimeter or 2, just depending on what you like to have there. Just don't make too much of a waist reduction or you will have difficulty to breathe. So I'm adding a princess seam just anywhere I like, and I'm copying the one dart that I've crossed out there on the right side into that princess and transferring it. It should have the same width as the dart, and this width should end at the waist. If you're going further with your pattern, then you know that you will have to taper this down to a point to the hip. But this one ends at the waist, and so we are going to copy the dart, lengthening the dart with the same width. Then it's mock-up time. I'm using cotton canvas, pre-washed many times for this, and I'm also using a pretty broad seam allowance, 1.5 centimeters environ, and I'm labeling those parts just to not confuse them. It's very useful when you're doing this for the first time. And yeah, this is the finished mock-up so far. Pasting in my zipper to get an idea of the fit. And maybe this is the time to have some design thoughts about what I would like to do finally with this pattern, because I know that I have a corselet, a strapless base for an evening dress in my plan at the moment, but I don't know yet what to do with the rest. Maybe something long because it's an evening dress. Maybe I don't want to have anything special like a crinoline or extra fluff and extra petticoats and stuff like that. It should be simple and elegant. Maybe adding it, or maybe not, and if so, which one? Well, anyway, I'm washing and ironing the fabric for the corselet, which is in my case 100% linen. I'm cutting out this corselet from directed pattern. Did I mention I had a fitting in between? No, I didn't. And yeah, sewing this corselet together and flat ironing the seams. And I'm also adding boning channels inside. There are prettier ways to this. Yeah, use those. At the end, I've used some stitching to reinforce the last closure. And I'm ironing again with a tailoring ham and adding bias binding to the top only because I still have to insert the boning itself. And you can see how fragile this construction is in comparison to a real corset. I'm finishing the boning ends, and while these dry off, I am creating a skirt pattern that should suit the whole thing. also from linen, and I'm widening this at the sides for 6 centimeters or about 2 inches at each side, together with a small curve to accommodate for the hem. And at the front I will have no darts at all. At the back I will have two, one to the left, one to the right, and this one will be my fabric for the outer shell. It is 100% polyester taffeta. I did not wash this on purpose because, yeah, it may get wrong, and also with ironing you can make some mistakes there. Check if you have enough fabric and don't iron it on a too high setting because this will melt if you do that. I'm cutting out the underskirt, also from linen, and I'm cutting a slit at the back of the skirt because I forgot that I should maybe have done 2 pieces, but this gave me the solution of a placket. I know now this is called a placket as well, which I did not know beforehand. So I'm adding 2 strips of fabric of the same length on the side of the slit, and that gives me an additional strengthening for the closure that I want to insert there. It's also a bit longer now. Additional seam allowance. So I have tried to match the skirt with the corselet and found out I have to manipulate the dart a little bit. I have to get those smaller just to make this fitting, and I'm finishing the skirt seams with, I think they're called lap seams. You can do this with a serge as well, of course. And because I did not have quite enough fabric for the hem, I'm finishing this with a simple turnover hem, also to get some kind of reduced bulk. And I have decided to do this hem by hand. I can't get the stitching by machine so even for the life of me that I won't have any wrinkles in there, so I'm correcting the fullness of the hem by hand. It's a small process that we call einhalten in German, and it signifies that you have to just adjust your fabric a little bit so that you could make a fold, but you're not actually making a fold. It's a very, very tiny detail steps because the upper part of the hem is a little bit smaller than the lower part that you're holding in your hand. You may notice that I'm using very small stitches here, as inconspicuous as possible, also with a thread color like this, and then I'm fitting it, and yeah, it does not fit yet, but maybe I can fix that and I can keep moving. I can lengthen it with more tape, and I can cut out the top part of the dress from taffeta, and I can cut out the overskirt, and it's according to my shoes a little bit longer. The underdress is inserted as lining to the dress, and now the time is up almost. I'm caring for the music that I have to sing there, but I somehow managed to get this on time, and thanks for watching.